What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. These are my Draftkings MMA picks for UFC 303. We have Alex Pereira going against Yuri Prochazka. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to this card. I'm sure all of you guys are as well. It's a stacked card for International Fight Week. 13 fights on the slate. And yeah, really interesting card from a DraftKings perspective. We got a lot of options that stick out. Some interesting salaries on this card as well. So yeah, I can't wait to break it all down. Before we get into it, if you guys could like the video, subscribe to the channel. It is always very much appreciated. If you guys want to support me more or if you want extra content, be sure to check out dfsbythenumbers.com. There you'll find all my stats, projections, targets, rankings, ownership projections, lineup optimizer, prize picks, article and entry, and much, much more there on dfsbythenumbers.com. And this video is brought to you by Daily Grind Fantasy. Shout out to Daily Grind Fantasy for sponsoring the show here. If you guys are into prize picks or underdog, check it out. They take lines from the sports books and give you the most plus EV plays on prize picks, underdog. They have a ton of different daily fantasy sites as well. And it's not just UFC. They have really any other sport. You know, some sports that I didn't even know were sports on there. So check it out. Use promo code DFSBTN and get a 25% off your first month. Link is in the description. All right, with all that out of the way, guys, I say we get into these fight doesn't go to decision lines. And up top, we have Peyton Talbot going against Yanis Gamori, minus 600 for the fight doesn't go to decision. And yeah, this is just Talbot or pass for me on this one. But it's an interesting fight, right? We have Peyton Talbot, who's 9,800, and I'm interested to see how high owned he's going to be because he's not. I mean, at 9,800, it's not easy to get him in there. It's not impossible. It's certainly not impossible. I was able to do it, and I'm able to get a decent amount if I want to. I'm just trying to decide how much Peyton Talbot do I want. Is he going to pay off that $9,800 price tag? I think there is a world where he does, but I also think there's a world where he doesn't. So it's an interesting standpoint, but I think he's the safest play on the card. I think from a cash standpoint, put him in your cash lineup. It's easy. I was able to do it without any issues. So I love Talbot from a cash perspective, but tournaments, if you want to fade him, I don't hate that just because 9,800, it's going to be very tough for him to pay that off. Not impossible, but very tough. Next, we have the main event. It is Yuri Prochazka going against Alex Pereira, and I'm all in on this fight. There's two fights on this card where I'm all in, going 100% exposed to, and it's the main event for me. At these salaries, at these price tags, it's like I struggle to see how this fight does not end up on the optimal lineup. I think somebody's getting knocked out within the first 2.5 rounds. So yeah, I love this fight. My ownership's going to be pretty evenly split, maybe a slight lean to the Pereira side personally, but yeah, going to be very, very heavily invested into the main event this week. Next, we have we got the newcomer Road to UFC fighter. It is Ray Saruya going against Carlos Hernandez. And yeah, I actually like this fight to target as well. This is a fight that I actually could see going the distance, though. Saruya is a guy that has a wrestling background. He's going to go out there and get takedowns. He's very one-dimensional, but he's really good at that one dimension. Like, if he's winning this fight at 9,300, expect just a ton of takedowns, a ton of control time, and maybe a sub early on. So yeah, I think there are some reasons to play Saruya just with that grappling upside that he brings to the table, but I also think there's some upside on the Hernandez side, who's very cheap, and if he's able to survive these first 7.5 minutes, I think the fight could get a little interesting. Then we got the main event, or co-main event, my bad. Diego Lopez going against Brian Ortega. Just got word that this fight is actually going to be at lightweight. Apparently, I think it was on the Brian Ortega side, couldn't cut down to featherweight on this short notice. So this is going to be a lightweight fight now in the co-main event, which is interesting. And yeah, another fight I do want to target. I want to target fairly heavily, not a fight that I'm going like all in on like the main event or another fight we'll talk about. But yeah, I think both guys have upside. It's hard to not play a decent amount of Lopez just with the way he's been fighting. You know, this is a guy that is coming in here prepared, ready to go. Ortega, I'm not sure. You know, or is Ortega ready to go? Has he been preparing at all for this fight? I'm not sure. But the fact that he wants to take this fight at lightweight, I don't like hearing that. So I'm more so on the Lopez side, but you know, you can never go wrong with Brian Ortega at an underdog price. Getting into the core plays here, my core play number one is going to be Ricky Simón, 8,900. And yes, there is certainly a possibility where his head gets taken off in the first couple rounds. But no, I mean, I think Ricky Simón has a path to not only score well here, but be the highest scorer on the entire slate. Like, Ricky Simón has elite takedown upside. He has control time upside here, ground and pound, and I think he's live for a submission as well. We saw Vinicius Oliveira get taken down at will by Bernardo Sopai, who's a good fighter, don't get me wrong, but he's not Ricky Simone when it comes to the wrestling or the grappling. So Ricky Simone has a path here to not only win this fight, but put up a massive score as long as his chin does stay intact. Alex Pereira is my pick for the main event here, 8,500. I'm going to be fairly evenly split. I haven't made my lineups yet. I wanted to wait till after the weigh-ins. But yeah, I like Alex Pereira here. I think there's a lot of reason to like Pereira. I know it's tough counting out a guy like Yuri, and I'm not. But I do like Pereira here. I think he can, attack the legs of Prochazka. I think that left hook is going to be a big factor. Yuri Prochazka, like 41% striking defense. I just feel like Pereira is going to have a lot of opportunities to land hard. And if Pereira is landing hard on your chin, you're probably going out. So I don't mind some Alex Pereira. Probably going to be my second, I want to say like second highest owned fighter on the card, probably behind Simone, I think. And then, yeah, Lopez, we talked about him a little bit, 8,400. Sometimes you just got to ride the hot hand, and that's kind of what I'm doing here. I'm a big believer in Diego Lopez. I'm a big believer in, the improvements he's making. Like, people will go back and watch fights from, like, 6 fights ago and be like, oh, he's getting taken down. His card doesn't look that great. I think, this guy's making rapid improvements. He's coming in here, looks to be ready to go. Like I just said, Ortega, I'm not sure if he's ready to go for this fight. And if you're not prepared, I think Lopez has a chance to not only win this fight, but maybe even finish it early. Ortega's tough as nails, but he's also extremely hittable, and Lopez has flashed some crazy power thus far in the UFC. So I don't mind Lopez at all at 8,400. And then Ray Saruya, 9,300. There's not a ton of plays I love in the 9K range. Obviously Talbot's up there. We'll talk about him, and Budai is up there as well. Pfeiffer's up there as well. I think all these plays are decent. If I had to pick my favorite, it's probably Saruya, just because his path to the optimal lineup it's there. He's going to wrestle. He's going to sell out for the wrestling. I've seen this guy land maybe one strike at distance. So yeah, Carlos Hernandez doesn't have the best takedown defense. Carlos Hernandez has been finished twice. So yes, Saruya has some paths, whether it's taking down Carlos Hernandez multiple times across 15 minutes, or potentially finding that finish within the first 7.5 minutes. So I don't mind some Ray Saruya at 9,300. Moving on to our GPP plays here, and yeah, Talbot, for me, I think a lot of people are going to fade him. I think that's going to be a very popular thing to do, which is why I kind of want to play him here. And yeah, it's tough because, like I said earlier, this is a spot where Talbot could go out there and pay off this price tag. He can go out there and beat the brakes off of Yanis Gamori, finish him, but prior to finishing him, knocking him down, landing just a million significant strikes. There is certainly a path that Peyton Talbot does go out there and pay off this price tag, and he's the highest scorer. And I guess it all comes down to, who's winning down low. Are we getting a lot of underdogs this week? Are we getting a lot of really cheap underdogs this week, which I think we possibly could. So yeah, I'm not sure how much Talbot I'm going to have as of yet, but I'm definitely going to play Talbot. I think it's going to be the popular thing to fade him this week, which makes me kind of want to play him. I remember Bo Nickel was 9,800 last time he fought at UFC 300, and he wasn't high owned at all. I think people just really tried to fade him, and it worked out. I mean, he didn't score incredibly against Brundage, I don't think, or maybe he did, I forget. But either way, I mean, Talbot has an opportunity here to score very well, and I'll be playing. So I'm just not sure how much I want to play as of yet. Next, we got Joe Pyfer at 9,000. Pyfer has finish upside. He has knockout upside, a lot of power in his hands, and Marc-Andre Barrio is going to give him opportunities here. Marc-Andre Barrio is going to probably throw down with this guy, and that could be to his detriment. I think Pyfer's live for a knockout in any round. I think Pyfer's live to get a takedown and get a sub as well. So, yeah, don't mind some Pyfer. 9,000, I think he's in play and in play for a finish. Roman Dolidze, 8,400. He's going against Anthony Smith. And yeah, Anthony Smith, at the end of the day, he's been finished 15 times. Roman Dolidze's dangerous wherever the fight goes. On the feet, Dolidze has a ton of power. On the ground, Dolidze's submission game is next level. So, yeah, I think if Dolidze's winning this fight, it could be any method. It could be a decision, knockout, or sub. But if he is able to get that knockout or sub, I think he is scoring very well at this price tag. And then Andre Fili, 8,600. So there's 3 fights I really want to attack on this card. The main event, Pereira, Prochazka, Fili, Swanson, and then Ricky Simone, Vinicius Oliveira. But yeah, this is a fight I do want to target heavily. I think this is going to be one of the more fun fights on the card. I think these guys are going to stand and bang. I think this fight maybe even goes under the radar with a lot of great plays around Feely, a lot of great plays around Swanson. So I'm hoping this fight goes a little bit under the radar, a little bit lower owned, because I think somebody is getting finished here and somebody's getting knocked out. So I don't mind some Feely. He's going against Swanson. Swanson's 40 years old. Swanson's been finished 10 times. Don't mind some Feely there. Getting into the live dogs here, yeah, there's a bunch, man. I mean, it's Michael Page, 8,000, certainly a live dog. If this fight stays standing, Michael Page is live to land a big shot. I was going back and watching that Kevin Holland and Michael Page fight, and Page was landing some massive shots on Holland that I don't think most guys will be able to take. I mean, at one point, Michael Page landed a nasty elbow. If he lands that against Gary, I think he's going down. Gary obviously has a lot more ways to win this fight. I think Gary can potentially grapple here, but like I said, when this fight is standing, Page will have his moments and have some upside there. Yuri Prochazka, certainly a live dog. 7,700. You can never count out Yuri. This guy's a complete madman. He's a complete wild card. He's going to go in there. He's going to fight for your money. He's going to get hit in the face many times and eat many of those shots. It's just, eating shots to the face against Alex Pereira is not the best idea. But he has a ton of power in his own right. He has wrestling upside, grappling upside in theory. So yeah, Yuri Prochazka, certainly a live dog. I'm going to have a ton of this main event. Macy Chiasson, 7,400. I don't mind some Chiasson here just because on the money line, she's like minus 110. Minus 115, and she's 7,400 on DraftKings, so I think we're getting a ton of value there. I also don't mind Macy Chiasson for cash games as well. In tournaments, I don't mind her as well. I'm just worried she's going to be a little more popular than she really should be because we are getting an underdog at like a pick 'em price. So, but yeah, don't mind some Chiasson. She's a live dog as long as she does not get subbed. And then Cub Swanson, 7,600, another live dog here in Cub Swanson. Andre Feely, I question the chin, I question the durability. We know with the power is the last thing to go. Cub Swanson, 40 years old, but I still think he can hit hard. I think he's live to knock out Andre Feely in this fight. Moving on to Prize Picks, and we have a free square this week, guys. Check it out. It's Alex Pereira more than 0.5 significant strikes on Prize Picks. I think he gets at least one significant strike. So yeah, there's that. I'm going to add it to my favorite play this week. I'll be getting out a Prize Picks video as well. But yeah, guys, if you want to check that out, Alex Pereira free square. Use promo code DFSBTN. You'll get a 100% deposit match up to $100. And you'll also get that free square. So check it out. Don't let that slip by. All right, pump plays. Vinicius Oliveira, certainly a pump play this week. I think he's going to be fairly popular as well after his viral knockout against Bernardo Sopai. And yeah, I mean, Ricky Simon, we've seen him knocked out before. We've seen him knocked out by Uriah Favors. So when this fight's standing, Oliveira is very dangerous, and he's going to have an opportunity to catch Ricky Simon. So that's certainly on the table. I think if Oliveira's winning this fight, he's not only winning it, he's winning it in very devastating fashion. This guy's a devastating power puncher, so I don't mind some Oliveira. Another guy I'll throw in there is Carlos Hernandez at 6,900. I think, there's a lot of unknowns about Tsuruya. We haven't seen any of his striking. His cardio doesn't seem to be the best. And if Hernandez is able to survive these first 7.5 minutes, I think the fight could get very interesting. So, other than that, there's not a ton of pump plays really sticking out to me. And then we'll go with the fade of the week. It's gonna be Mario Bueno Silva, 8,800. I think she probably wins. I'm picking her to win, but if she's winning this fight, like what does it look like? It's probably a sub, but if it's not in the first round, she's not going to score well. And even then, if it's in the first round, it's probably like an armbar from guard. She's probably not going to get much takedowns here, much control time. So yeah, I think there's much better options. Like in a win, I think she scores good. It's just, is she going to score more than some of these other fighters up there, like Tsuruya with grappling upside, Pfeiffer with really good finishing upside, and some other guys up there as well. So I'll be fading Mario Bueno Silva. I think she wins. She scores decent, but I don't think it's going to be enough. All right, there you guys have it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be on the lookout for the content for the rest of the week. I'm doing a final thoughts on Friday, doing a Prize Picks video will be out as well. And yeah, that's about all I got for UFC 303. Best of luck, guys. Like on your way out, subscribe on your way out, check out dfsbythenumbers.com, and we'll talk to you guys soon. See you later.